Alrighty. Okay, so I had to take a couple days, and I got really kind of perturbed on the last stream. Let me make sure everything's working here. Seems like it has the right title. Yep, okay, cool. So I tried earlier and it had the wrong title, but that's okay. Excuse me. Alright, so the last time that I was working on this, I was working on the audio manager, and I started losing my mind because I was getting no compiler errors, and I'm pretty sure I had it set up correctly, which I did, and I just started getting mad. So I decided to call it a night because I was kind of getting out of there, and I had a pretty decent day before that. But the funny thing is I was trying to get the music title theme to work whenever it played and then fade out, and kind of wrestled the code a little bit. But the part that I never really paid attention to was this little number here, the pitch. For some reason, it was defaulted at 0, which you can't even go to. So it initialized as 0, and not for some reason. I actually pretty sure I know why. If I go to scripts down here, whenever I initialize the pitch, I don't give it a... Oh, I think it's actually in sound. I don't give it a value. So it doesn't know what to do with it. I'm pretty sure that's why it wasn't working. So let me get rid of the environment here. Let's see. So it's not on here. It's in sound. So in sound, pitch is 0.1 to 1F. And I'm an idiot. And I should probably have initialized it as such. Maybe just that. It doesn't matter now because it's now that way, so I'll remove that. But that was the problem. Stupid, and I was getting really mad over it. So we're gonna try not to do that anymore. Try to keep a level head, which that's another thing. I'm trying to be more zen these days. I'm known to have a little bit of an angry side sometimes, and yeah. So why are we locked up? Oh, because I made a few changes. Okay. Come on, Unity. We get it? Okay, what do we got? Yeah, I know. Okay. So we got the audio manager working now. Now I need to start adding stuff to it. So we've got the music working. And I think the first thing the audio manager is going to handle is the area zone music. So I feel like I kind of need to write another piece of music for this first zone. So if we hit play, we hear I have the pitch down. That's awesome. Okay, so we want this to be 1. And I feel like the pitch should be able to go up to 2, but that's probably just gonna... We'll see. You know what? Let me just check. Because if I can change the pitch to 2, let's have it actually go. So we got volume is fine at 2, but at 1. Let's try seeing what happens. No, I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. I'm not trying to do that. Okay. So if we turn it up, let's see what happens. Unpause. It does work. Cool. That's kind of cool. That's awesome. Alright. And it fades out. Perfect. I think that 2 pitch is hilarious. Ah. Our rocket is back to normal. That's strange, because it's been hyper powerful lately. Alright, so there's a little kind of a thing a quirk I need to kind of figure out. Now I can run. Alright, so I need to start creating items too, and I have kind of thing here. Oh, gotta log in. Cleared all of my cookies this morning. Okay, send me the verification code. Come on. Oops. No, we don't want to use that. Where is my verification code? There it is. Alright. And boom. I think Audio Manager's done, so we can make a done list. Okay. These are the items I want to make, and we have some new graphics from Jason, so we're going to see what we got. And Jason is basically going to be doing the art and the level design, stuff like that. So, and I think he's going to start up a Twitch. Not sure. Okay, we want that down. How can I do this? It doesn't matter. Okay. If you chat at me and I don't see it, I'm sorry. There we go. So we've got to make items, because we now have an item manager. We need to create basically all of these, and we need to start creating these guys. So the thugs are basically the bosses, and the worker bots will be your kind of like typical enemies, but they're not going to be enemies. They're going to basically be hindrances, but you'll also be able to use them to advance through the level if you're agile enough. Okay, so let's first implement fuel is now charge. So I need to, because we're going to change fuel into charge now. So that should be the first thing we need to do. And I kind of feel like I want to change how this system works, because right now I have the player kind of holds the rocket. And this is the only real way I knew how to do this. I'm probably doing this all kinds wrong. The rocket has a rocket script on it. Oh yeah, that's just for identifying using that layer, which I'm sure there's a better way. And that will come with time. So the way the rocket is working is there's a jet bar here, which is now going to be called charge. So this is the charge bar. So I guess I could go ahead and rename this. It has a script called fill bar, which I'm okay with that. So we're going to call this the charge bar. And we're going to call it charge bar 1, because I do plan on having multiples. And just, if we have a fill and we have multiples, so how would that work? We could say it just increases. I'd like to have like a visual representation. So we like increase the bars, make the bars smaller, make new bars. If we go to fill, fill does not have any scripts. Neither does border. So charge bar has the script. Doesn't matter about the slider. We can go into the script. We could say fill bar is charge bar 1. And then we can just basically make multiples. Can I refactor this? Quick actions and refactoring. Let's see if I can change namespace to assets.scripts. No. Why would I want to change it to that? Move to namespace. Extract base class. Generate constructor. Move file to project root folder. No. Okay, so we can make this be. We're gonna just go ahead and do it, and then everything that breaks, charge bar 1. Okay, so now we'll take charge bar 1, and I think the things that are calling charge bar 1 are gonna be rocket, has fuel. What is calling fill bar? Is it gonna be? It's gotta be the player rocket. Rocket fuel. Update fuel. Fill bar. Where is fill bar? Where did I put it? Okay. Set spawn. Update rocket sound. Rocket has fuel. Okay, so fill bar. Oh, maybe it's in fill bar. Okay, so charge bar. We have all of this. Let's just save that, go back in here, rename fill bar to charge bar, and see if that works. I don't think it's going to, but we'll see. Maybe it will. We're going to call this charge bar 1. Wow. Kind of, I guess since it's all self-containing, while we're here, that is not what we want, even though it's funny. All right, so here we go. I guess I can stop doing that part. Okay, so really all I need is these. And now it is looking, because it has no... What is it? What is wanting that? Player rocket sound, fill bar. Player... We don't need any of that. None of that. None of that. Does this have element 2? Nope. Okay. If we go into fill bar or rocket, player rocket. Okay. It was destroyed. Okay, stop. So charge bar 1 is getting destroyed. So if we go to charge bar 1, let's see what happens. It has the respawn. Ah, untagged. Wait. That's not what we want. We want charge bar. Okay. Here we'll say, do we have something that makes sense? Nope. We'll go here, we'll call it charge bar, save that, go back to charge bar. It is a charge bar, save that, go back here, and it's with charge bar. Set max fuel, slider and fuel max fuel, set max fuel, set max fuel. Let's see if it works. I don't know. I don't know if it will or not. All right. It did. Cool. And it works. It's a little delayed. How can I speed that up? You know, probably not even the best idea yet, because I have a feeling I am going to be... See, the rocket's powerful again. It's weird. Okay, so I have a feeling I'm going to be changing how these components work. So let's go ahead and look at possibly creating the items inside of the item manager. So we have, if we go to the item manager, we have player has rocket, player has mover. Let's watch what the item manager does when we grab stuff. I don't think I ever did this. Do we even allow it to flag the rocket and the mover? No. Okay, so let's go look at... See, I don't know if I ever finished this guy because the audio manager was really getting on my nerves. Okay, so we have mover, climber, double jumper, flipper, laser razor, shield, magnet. This will be called magnet. Oops. And pounder. And yes, we do want capitals there. So C magnet, shield, blah, 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 blah. Player has rocket. Okay, so where do we check if player has rocket? So here's rocket. If player dot has rocket, do we have player? We do not. We do. We do have player. So at start, we are identifying the player. We have C rocket, which is component rocket, component mover. Okay, so if I go to component mover, this should be... Okay, so if we go to the player, let's save this. Let's actually go back and see if the player's flagging it. If we go to the player and select the player, we can look down if we has rocket. Okay, so let's, I mean, I'm almost positive he's flagging has rocket. So prize rescued. Oh, let me get the player looking here, looking at the player. Okay, so here's has rocket. And he has rocket. Okay, and the rocket is the correct... I get it, because on the first level it's setting... Okay, so we just have a different level setting here. Okay, so we got... Now we have mover booster servo. Okay, so we have here on the player the boolean... The bulls are... Boolean bulls. The bulls are flagging correctly. And I know my language is probably way off. I don't care. I'm a boomer doing something I want to do. Okay. If we go to the player character, I guess I could do it that way. We go say, okay, player controller. I didn't mean to character controller. So this will all end up being in the item manager. And item update if has sprites. Okay, so we should have a player over here. We do. And then we're saying, okay, so if player dot has rocket, player has rocket is true. So do we have that up here? Player has rocket is true. So for now, since we don't have these, I'm actually going to not do this the long way. We're going to do this the easy way. And save it, and then so we know that he has the rocket and he has the mover, and that is happening. That's just initialization. Okay, so we go here, we say on awake, don't destroy this thing, and then we say the player is this thing and these are the other things. We do an item check. So item check is not really doing anything yet. We're going to get to all of that. But we haven't update items here. So once we, okay, so private void update items. Okay, so down here we're saying if player has rocket, player rocket is equal to true. If player does not have rocket, return. Else if player has it, rocket, destroy. If player doesn't have rocket, then... Okay, so am I doing that right? Destroy C mover. So player has a mover booster. Aha, has mover booster. Player has mover booster servo. Player has, let's just redo it. Why do I have a T there? Has mover. Do we have that in here? Player has mover. Yeah, okay. Player has mover. If player does not, return else if destroy. See mover. Okay, let's try that. And player has rocket equals true. Okay, so we aren't destroying it. Maybe it will work correctly now. Okay, let's select the item manager. Play. Don't destroy on load. Only works for objects, components on... I keep forgetting that. Okay, so now it's most likely not going to work. why. Okay. Let's put this part back. And let's actually... I think the item manager is being... Well, which one are you talking about? Don't destroy and yeah, the item manager. Okay, so update item. The player has rocket. Player has rocket is true. So that should be working. Okay, so let's just make sure we have all of our ducks in a row. Player dot has rocket. Player has rocket. Player dot has rocket. Has rocket is true. If player does not has rocket, return. Else if player has rocket, let's do this. Let's get this down here. Copy this out. Boom. Let's try that. We don't need that. We can bring this back. Okay. Let's just see if that works with the rocket. And that looks a lot nicer. Beat it, butter, 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 beat it, butter. Nope. But he does have rocket. So what if I make, just to verify that we are getting the correct player controller, let's make this public. And now let's drag in le player. Let's see what happens. Missing player controller. And that's the problem. Okay, so is the player controller destroying? I think it is. So we go to player controller. We are letting it be destroyed. Yep. So let's allow the player to stay. See if that fixes anything or completely breaks it. Okay. And what that does is puts him back at... Oh, okay. So let's see. Excuse me. Where am I referencing? Okay, if here is active self, true. If not active player. Okay, so let's just... Okay, so let's do... if... let's say player, or let's do not... What happened? Did I do it? What did I hit? Okay, if not player... dot with a game object, yep, dot active self is equal to true. I mean, really, it's just if this. If not this, return. What are we in? We're in the camera controller. Oh, let's say not return. Let's say debug. Debug log. We're gonna say, oops, No player object present. Okay. And if that happens, return. And we're going to put these in a little thing here. I don't think it's return, though. I think it's going to be... Am I doing this right? We'll see. I don't think it's going to be return. I think it's going to be continue. We'll see. Probably doing this horribly wrong. Okay, so if player, else if player game object is active self. Let's try that. Okay, and let me see if I'm not spamming the crap out of all of this. Can I remove these? Will that work? Oh, rad. All right. Else if, that will go to here. Else if player blah 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 blah, player last move. Yeah, okay, let's try it. I have a feeling I just broke the game, but we'll see. Okay, so playing. Let's see if we lose it. Okay, yes, but the player remains. But what we get is player control has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. Did I save it? If player not game active, debug log, no player object present. And then, what do we want to do? We want to say, and then what? Yeah, return. Do it again. Keep doing that until you find a player, right? Object type player controller has been destroyed, but you're trying to access it. But it doesn't get destroyed. Oh. Maybe it's trying to access it before it destroys it. Yeah, I think it's trying to do it before it destroys it. So the camera controller on fixed update is looking for this thing. And when it does find it, it's saying it's not there. It's saying that it's already been destroyed. So player, and this is on the start. Let's try just leaving the camera. Oops. All right, let's see what happens when we do that. I mean, I really hate just not destroying any of this stuff and letting it just reload, but maybe that's the way to do it. Okay, so the camera comes back and it lets me die. So it's resetting the player. Oh, the player has to be killed and respawned. Okay, so let's undo that. So the camera does not need to be awake. Okay, the player does not need to, not be awake, be destroyed. The player can be destroyed. Okay, so if the player is destroyed and the item manager, let's tell the item manager it can also be destroyed. And every time it starts up, it's going to do these things. But what is persistently saving that? It needs to be the item manager. The item manager is what needs to persistently save this. Okay, so it needs to stay. I think all managers should just stay. Game manager, are you staying? You're not. But the way that this one works is it's looking for these things. It's saying, did these things happen? And if prize is rescued. This is game manager needs to be changed to level manager. Okay, so item manager should stay alive. Okay, so when it stays alive, we need this to work. So it's a public bool, And it doesn't really need to be public because it is the only thing using it. It needs... Well, no, it needs to be public so that the player, when it Okay, so when the player pops back in, we can say... We got player input, update player movement status. Okay, that is fine. Update item sprites. So I think this needs to go here. Let's take this. So if player has rocket, we go in item manager and we can say if player has rocket. We say if player has rocket, player dot sprite. Do I have a set sprite? Player dot... What did I call it? R sprite. Wait, rocket sprite enabled is true. Oh, so I did it. If rocket, what is R sprite? I think that's the sprite on the rocket source. R sprite. Okay, this is getting to be crazy. Player rocket. Oh, that's right. Okay, so R sprite, player dot R sprite. That's what we're looking for. Player dot R sprite. No, we need player rocket. That's what it is. Okay, so we need to have a thing. C rocket, component rocket. And then we got P rocket. Okay, P rocket will be P rocket is going to be equal to find object of type player rocket. Okay, now there we go. Okay, so now we need to create a variable for it. Player rocket. We got component rocket player. So we got public, and I want these to be dropped in player rocket. Okay, and this is going to be P underscore rocket. Okay, I'm really getting crazy here, but this should be good. Player controller, player rocket. Then we're going to have public, and let me just copy these because this is going to get ridiculous here. So we're going to copy this. Player rocket. We're going to have mover, which will be here. Player mover. Don't we have one of those? Player. No, we will have a player mover. That's what it is. We don't have one yet. Okay, so and then we're going to have one that's a climber. Climber. Excuse me. Player climber. Then we're going to have climber, player dub jump. Player dub jump. Okay. Jumper. Let's do dub jumper. Okay, jumper. Okay, so then we're gonna have public. We got grab flipper. I guess we'll just keep these the same. Moving on, we're gonna have laser razor, and here laser razor. Okay. Not last, we got shield. Shield. Okay, and oh no, we want a caps there, and shield. Okay. Move down. We got magnet and magnet. Okay. And we got pounder. That's what he said. She said? No. I didn't want to piss anybody off, so I'm going to stop talking about that. Okay. Pounder. Okay. Player pounder. Okay. Alright, so now we can take all of these, which we don't have anything for. Okay. What do we have? Okay, so these are going to actually be collectibles. So I'm getting to where I need to have something that reminds me what I'm dealing with here. And these will be player. Their player effects. That's effect, I guess. Alright, save that. Now let's see what we're dealing with here. We have a component mover, we have a component rocket, which these need to start staying together. Item manager. Let's get the managers hanging out together. Game manager shall go in the very beginning. Charge bar can come back on the player. So we got audio manager and sound. They can hang out together. Item manager can be here. Component player, which will come here. Okay, game player, audio, sound, items, component, blah 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 blah. Camera, spawn point. Those all kind of hang out in that. You know what? We don't need you. Okay, and I don't think we need charge bar. Alrighty, so what I need to do is get what's happening with the rocket situation over to the items. Item manager. This is not working. We need to get this to work. So what if we change our flag to say something else? Let's just say has rocket. I mean, that's really the best one. Let's just call it has rocket. Has rocket 1. And let's give it a bool. Oh. It's weak. Weak typing, Clint. Okay, so there you go. Bool has rocket 1. We're gonna write a whole new thing. We're gonna say this would be an update items and not item sprites. So update items, we say if has rocket. Where are we saying if has rocket is true? Where are we giving that information whenever we pick up the rocket? So if we go to component rocket, player dot has rocket equals true. So on trigger, if other game object dot tag is player, play the sound, play the particles, enabled rend dot enabled is false, so it stops rendering. Is found is true. Player dot has rocket is true. So let's change this from player dot has rocket is true to item manager. And you know what? We're gonna have to create an item manager. So we say item manager is item manager. And down here, we're going to say in the start, item manager is equal to find the object called item. And then we can come down here and say item manager dot has rocket, which is not going to be has rocket, which is now called player has rocket, is equal to true. So we just completely bypassed the player there. Curious as to why we're having the player hold the particle system. I must have been smoking crack that day. Although I'm sure I have a pretty good reason. Past me would argue to the death on why that happened. We'll see. I don't know what's going on. We'll figure that out. Update, we're going to do a float feature for this item. Okay, so is found is equal to true. What is needing to know if that is found? So if we go to the game manager, we have prize collected, prize controller. Okay, so what is saying is that found. If we come to the player, so I guess today is going to be a complete refactoring day because I'm really not digging the noodles I've created here. So has rocket 1. What am I even doing with that? Did I even... Golly, we got a lot of work to do. Yeah, we got to buckle up and clean this shit up because it is getting out of control. See if old Jason's coming over today. He's supposed to come over. We're going to work on getting him set up for stream and then... Because he's doing all the fun stuff. I know I'm doing the boring stuff. He's doing all the art and he'll be doing a lot of the music concepts that we'll both be finalizing later. But speaking of which, I'd probably need to make a piece of music today. And if I do, yep, it will be here. Okay, so what is calling for is found on the component rocket? What wants to know that? I know there's probably, this is a lot easier way to find this. Is there a reference? Bool component.rocket is found, and that's in here. And I mean, is it public? Yeah. So what was looking for that? Is it the player controller? Okay, was it the game manager? So my thoughts are we can remove this. Let's see what happens. Save that. And when we find the rocket, nothing of any valuable difference will happen. Valuable? Is that the right word? I think this is going to just work like it did. Except rocket to no longer work. Alright, so why? Ah, but player has the rocket. But rocket is not working. So the player is looking for is found. Let's see what we get. Stop this. We got resetting, going to, that's fine. Don't destroy. Okay, so allowing this to not be there does not allow the player to hold the rocket, and I think that gives me all I need to know, which means I think that it's on the player rocket is looking for that, or not necessarily player rocket. Let's see if this works right here. If this doesn't work, then I broke something else. Yep. So okay, the is found is what's allowing the player to have the rocket. So if we go over to component rocket is found, okay, and if that other object is found is equal to true, okay, false. Okay. So if we go to the player, let's look for is found. It would be component rocket, which I believe we do have. Do we have a? We don't have a component rocket. So the is found, is that hanging out? Yep, on component rocket. And if we don't let it be is found, the player, so maybe it's in the game manager. Okay, so we say player. We don't have a rocket component. Is found, is found, is found. Okay, so player controller. We don't have a rocket component. Do we? Am I blind? component. It's player rocket, so we. Weird. Okay, so. Maybe it's on the player rocket? I seriously doubt it. I don't even think I really need. Yeah, I don't. Okay, what did I do? Okay, where the heck? This doesn't need it. Player controller. So we go start. Okay, here. Yeah, I'm not seeing a. Not seeing. Weird. Weird. Okay, so we've got. Let's go back to item manager. Okay, so player controller, we say if you got jump, rocket sound. Why? If input rocket sound. What is input rocket sound? What makes it different? It's get button down, input rocket sound. For some reason that works. So weird. I would have totally expected it to be the other way. And I know I tried it, so I remember that. Okay. Is found goes away and we can't use rockets anymore. And why is that? Okay, so we got here IE numerator rocket. Update movement status. This is fine. Update fuel. Okay, player killed. Doesn't matter. Okay, player fell. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We really need to put this. Now, what's calling for the update fuel? We say, okay. If rocket fuel is less than 0, has fuel is false. And fuel is now changing to player flying equal and rocket fuel. Rocket fuel changes to charge. Okay, so let's. I don't care if it breaks. I don't care because I'm gonna fix it. If we go to where my item manager, what we need to do is say in the update we want to do rockets stuff, and so that if we come over here we can say we have in the update fuel. Okay, so this is obviously going to now be called charge. So we're gonna copy this, and I know it doesn't even matter. Actually, we're gonna come down and copy the function or method. Update fuel. Where you at? Okay, we're gonna grab this, copy it, and item manager is gonna say. Instead of that, we're going to have a thing called update charge because we know that everything is going to revolve around charge. And we can do that in the very first. So we say boom, update charge. And this is going to be... Okay, so we need an object. We need a thing called charge. And it will be a public float. It's actually making an int charge. Current charge. Then we're going to need a public int called max charge. And we're going to need a public int by charge regained per second. We'll call it recharge. Charge, recharge. Charge, recharge. Okay, rate. Charge, recharge, rate. There we go. That's a good one. And that won't be an int. That is going to be a float. And the reason that's going to be a float is because we're going to use it as basically a multiplier. Charge, recharge rate. Let's call it this. Recharge rate multiplier. That is something that I think makes sense. Recharge rate multiplier. So if current charge is less than 0, then has charge is false. So that means we need a bool called has charge. So we go public bool has charge. And that is false. Okay. Else has charge is equal to true. Okay, now if the player is not flying, if player dot player flying, rocket fuel charge current charge is equal to current charge plus times charge or recharge multiplier. Will that work? And what is it not working? What is it not liking? Charge rate times, I can't float. Okay. So let's make them all floats. What if I make it an int? Let's just try that. Okay, so boom, bam. All right, now. Okay, if current charge is less than 0, current charge, this is the clamp, current charge is equal to 0. Okay, clamps. All right, so now if current charge is greater than max charge, then it is equal to max charge. Okay, so the clamps are in place. We have update charge. Okay, so now we have a thing called current charge, max charge. Let's actually set the public bool to be the top of this. We're going to come down here and call this charge management. Okay, so and that's in the item manager because we do need that to be there, I think, because it's the only thing that's going to be governing. It's only going to be governing items, I think. And if it doesn't, we'll make a management thing for the management. Oh, that was a JSON.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message.
I bet she's here. I'll be right back. We're gonna go check. We're gonna go see if he's here. Alrighty. So I was wrong. He's not here. What was I doing here? Okay, so has charge. It looks like update charge. So that happens first. And the charge. Now, I believe the fill bar, if I go to fill bar, where is it at? Charge bar. Wait, is it there? Do I have it up? Nope. Charge bar. There you are. Charge bar. So now it is looking for... Okay, our fuel is the player dot max rocket fuel. So what we're going to now change this is we don't really need the player so much as the item manager. I don't think that needs to be public. Why? What? Private. Oh, because I'm an idiot. Okay, so item manager. Okay, oops. Manager. Okay, that's what that's called. Private int is now going to be called, we're going to call it current charge. Private int M fuel, which is max fuel. Okay. Max charge. Okay, so now we need to not have player. We're probably going to be able to get rid of that. We can say item manager equals find and instantiate the item manager. If I said that, I don't know if I said that right. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now we've got slider set max fuel, which is here. Okay, so we say max fuel. Max charge is equal to item manager dot max charge. Okay, so now we've got our fuel, which is now called current charge. So current charge. Oops. Okay, current charge is equal to item manager dot current charge. Set fuel is now going to be rocket fuel. It's going to be current charge. And this is going to be current charge. Slider max value current charge. Slider value max charge. So it's going to be item manager dot max. Wait, did I set max charge? Yeah. Okay, so we say max charge. Value is current charge. Current charge is set here, set fuel. So we say this is not going to be called set fuel. This is going to be called set current charge. And the set fuel is now going to be called set charge and set max charge. Okay, and then set charge. Now where's set max charge? Here we go, set max charge. Okay, so why don't you like it? Oh, this is why. Save, oops, undo save. Okay, so now the charge bar is no longer looking for player, so we can get rid of player, I believe. We can get rid of player. We are no longer looking for player. So we can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. Slider max value equals item manager dot Slider max value is actually going to be X. Boom, 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 boom. Max charge. Okay, so we set the max charge in awake. Yep. Yep. Oh, no, wrong button. Boop. And then destroy anything if it's over that. So don't destroy this object. So then we say don't destroy on load dot this or dot not dot. Don't destroy on load this dot game object. I believe that's how we did it. And the charge bar, does it need to destroy? Does the charge bar? I think the player. Let's for now comment. Ooh, sheet. Comment that out. Save it. And current charge is set to item manager.current charge. Set charge slider value equals current charge. So we actually could just take this out, put it here, I bet. What do you want to bet? Okay, so now on update, these things happen. Set charge. On the start, we're setting the max charge. And we're not using these. Okay, I did a lot of stuff, and I have a feeling it's just not going to work. We'll see. If it does, I'm going to be happy. Yeah, it's not working. Okay, so why does he even have a bar right now? He shouldn't have a bar. So it's definitely not working. Okay, and I don't care about that, because if I can't get it to work the way I need it to, then so what? All right. What is calling don't destroy item manager saying don't destroy unload? It is. It is a root object. Is it not? Oh, duh. So let's say that the max charge was 1,000. Recharge rate multiplier 2. And let's just see what happens. We hit play. Current charge equals max charge. So that's what we need to make happen. Current charge equals max charge. So we go to the item manager and we say update charge. We say on start, current charge equals max charge. Here. This is where we need to do it. Current charge equals max. That is not. Okay, let's see if that works. Yep. Okay, so now we have charge. I don't think we're supposed to see that yet. I don't remember if we are or not. Okay, we still don't get the rocket. Okay, but that's okay. I'm okay with this. Okay, so now let's go look at our player. Oh, I'm not even telling the item manager to do rockets. Okay, so item manager. We'll call this rocket update. Excuse me. And I think the way I want this to do it is we're going to have it update everything about rockets. So we'll take this, update items, change it to rocket. Is it rockets or rocket? Did I do rockets? Okay, so we got update charge, update rocket. Okay, so now if we go to rocket, we want to dupe this guy here. Copy. Then we want to remove the rockets and call this mover. Update mover. And if we go back here, we want to remove the mover and just say update rocket. Okay, so there's that. Okay. Now, this is good. So what we can say is we can say if player dot has rocket, return if player has rocket, destroy C rocket. So if we go to excuse me, player, the way the player initiates rockets is by we have a input rocket, and they then do that, and if they have the fuel, which we need to now make charge, so that's one of the first things we got to do. So has fuel, where's that? Okay, so we've got spawn point. Does that need to be public? I don't think so. Okay, so vector 2, vector 2's nope. Buffers, okay. Input enabled, good. Quaternion starting rotation, look distance, start speed, max speed, move speed, run multiplier, jump force, rocket force. Rocket fuel, max rocket fuel. Okay, we are not going to need that anymore. Let's just look at rocket fuel. Okay, rocket fuel has to go away because we did that. That has to go bye-bye. And now what we can say is say, okay, play rocket sound. This needs to happen we go to game item manager. We say if player has rocket. Okay, so I don't think we're doing the charge. So okay, if player, this is all inside of player input. Okay, so we can say we don't want this. That does not need to be player input. That needs to be inside of item manager, and that's going to be basically this line, right? If current charge, yep, that's it. So we get rid of that. We've got that out of there. Player controller. So we go down here and we can see movement status. I enumerated rocket. Okay, while player is flying and has charge, okay, this is going to reduce the cost of the rocket. So when they do rocket, we're going to copy this. We're going to copy this. Actually, we're going to cut it. And we're going to come over to the item manager. We're going to come down here and say update charge. And then we've got, okay, rocket. So while player flying and rocket fuel. So do we still have player? Yes, because we were going to need that. While player dot player flying. Is that what it said, or was it an exclamation? No, okay. So while player dot player flying and rocket fuel and charge, what do we call it? Current charge. Current charge is greater than 0. You'll return wait for seconds, and we can say that current charge is equal to minus rocket cost. Charge cost. We'll say charge cost. Okay, and so then we'll say charge management, we'll say charge cost. Okay, so we say public int charge cost. And charge cost, okay, so max charge we're going to initialize into 1000. current charge will automatically do the thing. It will do that. Charge cost initializes into, let's just start with 10. And the recharge multiplier initializes into 10. So it's fast. Let's actually say you can use it faster than it comes back. All right, let's see. So now we say if player has rocket, return. If player does not have rocket. If player does not have rocket, return. Else if player has rocket, destroy C rocket, player has rocket, true. Okay, so that's basically saying, yes, we have a rocket, okay? Update charge is saying, okay, this is the current amount of charge we can have. And I believe that is going to work. So it's going to say charge times current recharge rate. So once we get this working, now here we say rocket. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to say update charge. We're going to say down here, there's the clamps, and we're going to call rocket. Okay, so boom, there's rocket, and say while player and player flying and current charge is greater than 0, this is the thing. Okay, so we're updating charge. Now we're nesting in there rocket. Rocket will affect the charge, so that makes sense. Okay, so we save it, and then we go back to the player controller, and we've got that out of there. So these all now are things that we do want the player to hold on to. Set spawn. Okay, so set spawn. Yes, we need that on the players. Update item sprites. Here we go. So if player.has rocket, R sprite. And R sprite, I believe, where's that? Okay, there we go. I believe I have player rocket. So we can say procket.sprite. Let's try. So if rocket happens, so we have this. While this is happening, do that. And, oops, wrong button. If we go to player, we say update item sprites. Okay, so let's take this item manager. If rocket, and it's going to be if player, nope, if player has rocket, boom, our sprite will now be called p underscore rocket dot sprite. I gotta store that. Enabled. It's true. If player has rocket, p rocket enabled is true. Let's try just p rocket is enabled. Enabled is false. Okay, so there's that. Player controller. No more update sprites. Okay, so now we've got that. Play rocket sound. Item manager is going to then look at the audio manager for the rocket sound, I think. Play rocket sound. If player flying, let's just take all of this. X. Again, go to our item manager, and this is a good place to store it for now. If not player flying, if not player dot player flying, p rocket player dot player flying, p underscore rocket, p underscore rocket. Okay, so anything else in the player controller? Okay, we don't need the sound. We got that gone. Okay, so if input rocket, let's see, let's go here. So if input, p rocket source dot source r source. So that's what we got to do. We got to say p rocket P source is equal to, yeah, let me give you one. P source. This is going to be an audio source. Oh, might help if I spell it right. Audio source is, we're going to call it P source. And in P source, we're going to have a thing that's going to be P underscore rocket dot get component audio source. I did not put 0. Okay, so P rocket get component audio source. So P source here. Oops. And that. Okay, so now if they do rocket, while player flying and kind of go, if player has rocket this, if player equals player flying and P rocket enabled equals false. Else if player dot player flying enabled is true, debug playing rocket sound source play. We don't need the debug. Okay, so else if player not flying rocket enabled is true and the player is flying is true and the play sound is true. Source play. Wait a second. Is that what was in there? Play rocket sound? I guess so. So what we're going to go do here is we're going to have if it's input, we're going to play the rocket sound. So we're going to say if input rocket, our source mute equals true, player flying equals true. Oh. Here we go. Okay, so start coroutine rocket. And there it is. Okay, so item manager. I did not think of that. We've got down here, we've got update rocket. Wait, did I put it up here? Rocket. Okay, which is a coroutine. So we have update rocket. Okay, and here we can say start coroutine rocket. Okay, and then we're going to pull the coroutine down below that. What's the other reference there? So if we go back, what is this one? We've got start coroutine rocket and 98 rocket, 98, 98, 98. It does not. Update rocket, which is happening there. Okay, so I don't need to call this in charge. So update charge. Actually, that probably is the best place to put that enumerator. So this, okay. I'm an idiot. Okay, update charge. And here we'll say start coroutine. This will be called rocket. And so now we're saying, okay, start coroutine rocket cost. That's what we're going to call it. So we go down to the coroutine. Rocket cost. Start coroutine does not need to be there. We can say update rocket. So now if player has rocket, we want this in rocket. Okay, if player has rocket, P rocket enabled equals true. Player has rocket is equal to player has rocket. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we can basically just say on start Is it on start? Oh, I'm getting a headlight. I need to eat something. Might take a lunch break here in a minute. It's saying, okay, if the player has rocket, return player dot has rocket. Destroy the extra rocket. If player has rocket, destroy C rocket. Player has rocket is true. Else, if player dot has rocket, destroy C rocket. Perfect. Player has rocket equals true. Now, okay, so that basically is what happens on startup. So, really, we kind of want... I don't even think players should have to be flying. I think current charge should always be recharging. I don't think the player should have to be... If player's not flying, that's fine, I think. Current charge is equal to current charge times recharge rate multiplier. And so what we could say is we could have a Boolean flag on the player, say, using charge. So we can say, okay, if player dot using charge, let's go ahead and make that real quick. So we got a player controller. We can say, let's say, using charge. Ability flags, using charge. So public bool using charge. That initializes as false. And so you know what? It shouldn't even be on the player. I'm an idiot. I am totally an idiot. We're going to actually do this over here first, and we'll fix the player up. Okay, so we are going to have a charge management flag, and we will make it public. Bool using charge. Okay, has charge, using charge. Okay, so charge management flags, or just charge management. Okay, so has charge, using charge. Okay, so now if the... Okay, we'll say if... So rocket cost will then be using charge. So while this is happening, we're going to say using charge is equal to true while that's happening. And current charge is that. So, okay, while using charge equals true, while that. Okay, so now if we say if player is flying, while player is flying, we will be using charge. And that's the cost of the charge. Now, in charge management, and we gotta say, if player is using charge, if player is not, and it's really not even player, it's if not using charge, this is what we want to happen. Okay, if current charge is less than or equal to 0, has charge is equal to false, else has charge is true. Perfect. Has charge, using charge. Okay, so clamps, start coroutine rocket cost. Now, we start coroutine rocket cost, and that only happens if the player is flying. While the player is flying, current charge is greater than 0. And okay, so perfect. Now, if player is flying, right, enable false. If player is not flying, procket dot enabled is false. Else, if player is flying, procket is source enabled is false. Sprite. That was the sprite. But I don't think that matters. We'll get to you. Okay, so now on the player, we need to say, okay, so if he's charge, it's basically say if he's using charge, this is what happens. And we decide if we're using charge based on our individual components. So here we say the rocket cost, we are using charge. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. If player not flying, P-rocket enables false. Else if, that's the play, that's the sound. Part of me says this part does not want to be there. It wants to be here. Okay, if player flying, da 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 da. So basically what we need to do now is have a player flying. So if player dot has rocket is true. I don't even feel like we really need to have the player has rocket. If this is true, this is true too then. I mean, else P-rocket enabled is false. Okay, so we're going to take this. What the hell happened? I didn't do that. Excuse me.
I have to start our dinner.
Okay. Player does not have rocket, these are the things. Else if player has rocket, these are the things. So player has rocket, these can go bye-bye. Alright, if player is not flying, P-rocket enabled, false. If player is not flying, enabled. I'm just going to say I don't need all this crap. Why is it? I mean, at least my brain is saying I don't need it. It could be like totally saying you need it. What did that just say? Don't care. Don't care. I don't care. No. Yeah, of course you want money from me. Okay, so update rocket. So if player has rocket, P-rocket is enabled. Else, P-rocket is not enabled. It's true. Player has rocket. It's true. Da, 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 da. Okay. Player dot has rocket, I think is what I want this to do. Has rocket. That's so much easier. And I don't know why I made this. Let's just get rid of player has rocket. Am I using it anywhere else? Player has rocket. Where's that? Player has rocket. No, here it is. Don't think we need these. Wait. Can I pull it all here? Let me see. Jeez, I'm confusing myself. Okay. So we have these ability flags. We definitely don't need has rocket 1 anymore. So we're going to change the ability flags to say has mover, has grapple, has jumper upper. And we're actually going to call this dub jump. Has no, that's not correct. Has laser razor. It has double jumper. These, I don't even think I'm using that. We'll see. Okay, so we got a sprite render, rigid body, animator, source component is audio source, camera controller, spawn. Golly, got a lot of things here. Prize, hurt player, P rocket. Just player rocket, R sprite, which is the player rocket sprite. Okay. So the R source is the P rocket get component audio source. Item manager. Okay. Flags. We want to bring these back up. I'm just trying to clean up as much as I can. Okay. Rocket fuel equals max rocket fuel. Okay, I don't think I need that anymore. Okay, so update fuel, update item sprites. No longer. Rocket fuel, rocket fuel. Okay. Collisions. Okay, we'll get to those later because we do need to do some stuff there. So input. Else if has mover booster servo, and we're gonna call this mover, and has mover. Okay, has mover and input run. Okay, so I'm good with this. So I think we are going to need these ability flags. So whenever the item manager says, okay, update charge, then we're going to say update rocket. If player does not have rocket, and the rocket, which it's got the collider on it. Is it? If we go to, it's not on this level. So if we go to, let's save, and we go to scenes. So we go to test level. Don't like that camera. Okay, so here it is. And on component rocket, we have a thing called component rocket. It says degrees per second amplitude and is found. So if we go to component rocket, yeah, no. Let me see the script. Thank you. So component rocket says if the player hits me, play a sound, play a particle system, and I am no longer available to see. Okay, so now the is found is true. Item manager player rocket, player has rocket is true. Now, where is it looking for is found? Component rocket is found. Where is this? Is this? I wish I could see. So what is using it, and where is it? I bet you it's over here somewhere. Is found. Where? What is looking for that? Can jump. Yep. Nope. Is found. I don't see is found anywhere. Start coroutine rocket. Okay, so if rocket input, then here, instead of starting coroutine rocket, we're going to go to the item manager dot item manager dot, no, player is flying. That's all we need. Okay. So we basically say the source, rocket source, is mute. We don't want that. All we want this to do is to make a flag saying yes, it's true, we're flying, and this is the direction we're going to be going in. So what I'm going to do is take these and put those at the bottom. Oops. Copy that. Cut it. Okay, so play rocket sound, and you know what? I'm not even worried about the rocket sound right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of rocket sound. We're gonna figure out rocket sound later. Okay, so rocket sound. So what we need is, we know we're gonna input, we know we're gonna jump, run, rocket, set spawn. So we're gonna actually tell set spawn. I think I'm gonna allow that to just be a part of the game from the outset. It's not gonna be a power. So input run, no, run is a power. Okay, so input run, jump, and set spawn. Okay, input rocket, input run, input rocket, and those are the only two we have right now. So let's put input respawn actually before that. Organization is king. Base abilities. Found abilities. Okay, now, so if we are allowed to have input, which is decided, I think, by the game manager. So what we can do is game manager can decide here, and we'll get there. Okay, so the player controller really just needs to control the player. So all of this should be fine. Jump. Now, we're going to get rid of source.play. I'm going to get rid of all the sounds. We're going to get rid of rocket sound. Particle systems.play. I'm going to just mute those for a second because respawn. Okay, set spawn, prize is rescued. Input set spawn. So the way that the man, getting tired. What's going on? Just started. Okay, so we've got die update, blah blah blah. All these are good. Set spawn and respawn. Update movement status. Killed, fell, died, animator. Okay. So now, do we really care if the prize is rescued? No. We're going to say that when this happens, that happens. Because prize won't be a thing. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to nuke all this stuff because I don't want it. Even my particle systems. Okay, so that's all we want. Set spawn equals true. So set spawn should actually be handled by the game manager, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Or we'll let that stay. So reset player. The source is muting and player is flying, so we don't care about muting a source. We're actually just going to get rid of all this. Okay, so true, player flying, else if input rocket or doesn't have charge, which has fuel, needs to become has charge, has fuel, 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 has fuel. Flags, has charge, and has charged. Actually, has fuel. It's not even that. We're just going to say item manager dot has charge, and item manager dot has charge. Okay, so we don't even need this extra. Okay. Working our way up, working our way up, working our way up. Okay, so man has charging for blah 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 blah. Else if this, player running is true of move speeds, da da da. Clamps it, so yes. Move speed, run speed multiplier, that's fine. Start speed running is false. Perfect. Perfect. I think our input is done. Now, player grounded is whenever exit. Okay, so player grounded is if collision contacts normal Y over 0.1, player grounded is true. That's going to get it difficult here in a minute. Okay, so using charge is false, player moving is false. My rigid body freeze rotation is true, and input enabled is true. These are all initialized on start, rocket fuel, max rocket fuel, start speed, move speed. Okay, whatever. Let's see here. So, I don't think we're gonna need this. We're gonna leave it there though, just in case. So, seconds before reset. Do we still use that? I think so. I'm not finding what is looking for the component rocket to be found. So if I go to component rocket and I tell it you don't have to report is found, but if I tell it to not report it, right here, whenever they touch it, don't let anything know that the player found that. Just don't put your flag up. And I want to see. Let's see. So we have player controllers not contain a definition for mover. So this is the problem here. Okay, save that. Do you have any more of those? Okay. Mover. Is this on the item manager? Oh, yeah. Okay, so mover. Okay, save those. Head on back. And that should fix most of it. Okay, so if we play from here. Okay, my rockets are constant and I have no fuel. Okay. And player movement is not working correctly, but I have a feeling that's only there. Yeah, it's so weird. Can't fly. Okay, no longer able to fly. Okay. But I'm okay with all this. We're good with this because I think in the long run, things are going to be much better. Okay. So let's continue just getting everything in the right place. Well, let me see if that fixes that. Like, let's see if at least that fixes the rocket. And I think it does. So that lets me know that it's probably the rocket component that's looking for... No, so rocket still doesn't work correctly, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally fine with it. I'm not going to get mad. Okay, so first of all, let's actually go back to the title screen. I have a feeling this might be one of our bigger problems here. So, okay, and missing reference. Player rocket has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. You should check this note or not destroy the object. Okay, so where is this at? Where is this happening? Player rocket enabled false. That's not what I wanted to do. So this is P-Rocket Sprite. So this is what we want to do. We want that to be Sprite. P-Rocket component audio source. P Sprite. We'll call it P underscore Sprite. Not packages. Not packages. P underscore Sprite. Excuse me. P Rocket. Let's actually call this PR source PR Sprite. I'm going to say P Rocket Rocktet get component Sprite. Sprite renderer. And so we have now problems with source, which I don't know where it is looking for those. P source, P Sprite. Oh, up here. I'm an idiot. Okay, so we have P R source, and we have Sprite renderer, which is going to be called PR underscore Sprite. Okay, save that. PR source. Save. Maybe that fixed some stuff. I doubt it. Play Rocket has been destroyed. We're good. Yep. Okay, so Play Rocket has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. Your script should check if it's null or not destroy the object. Oh, because I didn't change it. I didn't even think to change it. Okay, so now this is going to be called PR Sprite, and this is very important because this happens a lot. Else if PR Sprite, and this will now be PR source. Okay, so save that. And let's just go ahead and copy that and say that else if these things are happening. Okay. Let's just see if it sorts it back out. Cool. So if these things are happening, do that. And let's check it now. So PR source, PR Sprite. Let's try it again. I have a feeling there's another reference that's going to break when I do this. But not sure if I know where it's at, or at least remember where. Yep. Okay, so Sprite render has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. You should either check if it's enabled, or you should destroy the object. Sprite rendered Sprite enabled false. I don't think I'm destroying it. Where is it destroying? So Sprite renderer is PR. So Player Rocket dies. At this point, there is no Player Rocket. Player Rocket, but it is there. Player Rocket, Sprite renderer enabled. Okay, Player Rocket, Sprite. Player.hasRocket PR Sprite enabled. But it doesn't exist. Where am I losing it at? Okay, so oops. The object type Sprite Render has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. Your script should either check if it is null or should destroy the object, or should not destroy the object. If player.hasRocket, if PR enabled is false, why would I have to write a check for if it's there? Because it's there. If PR.sprite, let me see, PR.sprite is player. Play Rocket, PR source, PR Sprite. But it hasn't. It's right there. Another conundrum, Leo. Let's actually clear this. Okay. The object of type sprite render has been destroyed. Okay. Player.hasRocket. If player.hasRocket. PR sprite. Which PR sprite is PRocket. PlayerRocket.sprite render. PlayerRocket.sprite render. Let me just watch this real quick. Okay, so if we got player. Where's the player here? Where's the player? I mean, that's it right there. That's it. Okay, so the object sprite render has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. So where does it destroy at? It's not destroyed. You know, I didn't even check this. Does that still work? Yeah, but we don't get graphics. Okay, so... What do I do? I want to... we got it there. It's saying enable. Okay, so from now, what we're going to do is we're going to say... For now, don't worry about... excuse me, the sprite renderer or the audio source. This is for Update Rocket. And this is completely... Because if I have it wrong, I have it wrong. So, it's, I mean, I don't care about nuking code. I'm going to nuke the code as much as possible. Okay. We get to play. We don't get the rocket. Okay, so we're doing better. Okay, so... something in here. Let's see what happens if we just let the sprite rendering be there. I have a feeling it might be these. And we can bring the audio back in. But I don't want the audio there anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, sprite render has been destroyed. Okay, so it's definitely these guys. Let's see if let's see how the audio source handles this. We want to delete, or at least remove. Okay, so save those. Go here. Hit play. So the sound is fine. Okay. But now we're not getting rocket. And the reason we're not getting rocket, I have a feeling, is because our rocket charge is not looking at the right stuff. So let me go see. We got... Okay. And... do we have rockets? It thinks we're moving. That's fine. I'm cool with that. But here is annoying. Right here, it thinks we're moving. And then it stops us moving here. Why? Oh my gosh. Tears are coming out of my eyes. Allergies, bro. Allergies. I'm crying because my game ain't working. No. Okay, so last move is still working. Very strange here. Okay, can jump. Grounded. Okay, has rocket, does not. Okay, so if we go to rocket component, let's change is found to player dot has rocket is equal to true. Let's try that. Item manager player has rocket is true. So player controller item manager should be deciding that on its own, shouldn't it? Has rocket. Let's see if player dot has rocket. No, it doesn't even need that. So we go back to component rocket. This is a non. Okay, so there we go. So now player.has rocket is true. Let's see what happens. It's about to be lunchtime. Okay, so we want to select the player and scroll down. Has rocket is here. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay, good news. Good news. We fixed our problem. Oh, and we're still drawing doors. We don't have our particles, but we're still drawing our portal. Whoa. And it works. Perfect. That is a great time for me to pause, go get some food in me, and I think the designer is going to be here in a little bit. We're going to talk, figure out some things, may jump back on later and do some music, and then still need to kind of fix up this stuff. But hey, it's working. I can't complain. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon, if you're even watching.